Now we move into combat sports and UFC 314. Two of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport get one last chance at relevance this weekend. It is time for our Fight Night first look at UFC 314. So, UFC 314 goes down this Saturday in Miami, Florida. In the main event, Alex Volkanovski gets another chance to reclaim featherweight glory as he goes up against fast-rising prospect Diego Lopes, while Michael Chandler gives Paddy Pimblett the biggest name opponent of his career in the co-main event. Also, a very important fight to stay relevant for Michael Chandler. So let's take our first look at this fight night. For Volkanovski, this feels like the last chance at gold. This fight is only happening because Ilia Topuria has moved up to 155 pounds. Volkanovski has lost 3 of his last 4. And yes, all the guys that he has lost to are at the very tippity top of the pound for pound rankings, but still, Volkanovski was there as well to start that, and now it has plummeted. A loss here and any chance at a title basically goes away. Because you think about it, if he loses here to Lopes this weekend, he would have lost to the 145-pound champion, the 155-pound champion, and the presumptive number 1 contender at 155 pounds. That's a lot to come back from. But this is still one of the most talented fighters the sport has ever seen. He can put the aspects of MMA together in ways that very few have been able to do before. And so for him, the path to victory is pretty clear. It's just that it is a must for him. If he wants any shot at being a champion still, he has to get it here, Saturday night in Miami. And for Lopes, the question is actually quite the opposite. Is it too much too soon? He to this point, had a pretty regular top prospect rise, right? Dominates the regional scene, gets some quick, flashy wins in the UFC on some undercards, and starts moving up the rankings. But it does kind of feel like he has skipped a step now. He has fought in the 5th round in the UFC as many times as I have, which is none, by the way. And he has fought twice in the 5th round before in his career. Once in Fury FC in 2021, and once at Lux 006 in 2019 in Mexico. Now, going from Dan Ige and Brian Ortega to a title shot isn't unheard of, but neither of those guys are on the level of Volkanovski is even now, right? So Lopes is going in there to face the toughest test of his career. I don't think there's any question about that. But there is a lot in his rise that does make you think he is ready for this opportunity. So it is just going to be, where are these ships passing in the night? I am so fascinated by this fight. When you look at, again, the career of Alex Volkanovski and what he has been able to do going up against Diego Lopes and what we think he can do against guys at this high level. We just haven't seen it at this high of a level yet. These types of fights are always very intriguing to me. In the co-main event, Michael Chandler also in a must-win. Chandler has lost 4 of his last 5. His only win is coming over Tony Ferguson, who is now fighting in the MMA equivalent of the Champions Tour. So, it's not great. His style, though, does make him relevant. His name keeps him relevant for sure. But if he wants, again, that gold back, it has to start now. And honestly, it has to be incredibly impactful. Like, it has to be a gigantic win. Paddy Pimblett is a name, but, the skills of Paddy Pimblett aren't close to the guys that Chandler has lost to. So again, it's an interesting test to see where Chandler really is at this stage of his career. While Pimblett, again, interesting test. He gets another name, but it's now the 3rd fighter in a row for Pimblett who you could best describe as past their prime. Pimblett obviously has talent. He obviously has the ability to bring fans in as well. But again, this is probably the toughest test of his career. Chandler has fallen off a little bit, but he is miles ahead, I think, of King Green, who Paddy tapped out last year, and Green just got epically knocked out at the last UFC pay-per-view. It is a bit of a tough one for Paddy Pimblett because any questions about him and his game are still going to be there after, or if he wins this fight. It's still going to be, well, I mean, who are you really beating? Honestly, he has lost 4 of his last 5. And if he loses, then it's like, man, you're losing to washed up fighters. Like, what are we doing here? So it's a very high risk, low reward, I think, for Paddy Pimblett. But it's a spotlight. It's the co-main event against a big name and another opportunity to get your name out there in a big time way. So again, a lot more to talk about with this fight card as the week kind of goes on. Tomorrow we will have the fighters to watch on the rest of UFC 314, leading up to our preview show on Thursday on YouTube and in podcast form on Friday.